mission statement is so amazing and powerful that I just really want to read it, if that's okay. So when I joined DSVS, I realized that we were incredibly busy people. We were doing a lot. Whenever someone asked us to do something, our answer was yes. And what I also realized was that we were doing a lot of activity, but not necessarily understanding impact. We needed to figure out a way to have a North Star, to really decide what is it that we're going to focus on to actually make a difference in the lives of those that we serve. And so that was the beginning of embarking on our 5-year strategic plan.
ADAPT stands for Anger Domestic Abuse Prevention Treatment. That's the acronym. ADAPT provides the opportunity for those who have caused harm to heal their own trauma, to heal their own pain. And in that extent, it certainly helps the whole family environment, including the survivors. We believe that this is a program that helps not only just to process what they have gone through and the harm that they have caused, assuming accountability. We believe in accountability, and when you are embracing what accountability is, you're expressing remorse, you're obviously understanding the pain that you have caused to yourself but also to others, and also you're taking actions to repair that harm. Someone who has been abusive will never stop being abusive, that they look a certain way, that they act a certain way. There are no labels when you are causing harm, when you're in a domestic violence incident, and those labels don't help as we try to teach some of our participants in our program. And most uplifting experience is that through the duration of those 18 weeks of our program, we have seen a lot of great stories from individuals who have gone through this process. And after 4 months and a half, they have been able to understand what they have gone through, but most of it, they have made changes and they have improved their relationships and their lives.
So with Fairfax County Domestic and Sexual Violence Services, we have a clinical services team, and the counseling team, we provide free short-term counseling services to survivors and secondary survivors of domestic violence, sexual violence, stalking, and human trafficking. Counseling is a great resource for people who are in crisis, which a lot of the folks that we serve are. We do a couple of different things. So one of the things that counseling can help with is to help give people a safe, confidential, private space where they can talk about what happened, which a lot of the folks we serve don't feel like they have family or friends who understand the trauma they're experiencing. We can also help with things like safety planning, building coping skills, emotional regulation, finding resources to help them meet their goals. And then of course our ultimate goal is to help them heal, move forward from the trauma, and start to feel like themselves again. We have individual counseling, we have group counseling. Our groups we offer currently is we have a support group for adult women who've experienced domestic violence. We have a support group for adult women who've experienced sexual violence, and we are building an art therapy-based group called our Storycloth group for women who've experienced gender-based violence in general. For individual work, we have members of our team who specialize in cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, art therapy, EMDR. So we've got a wide range of things that we can do. We will connect with either our Child Advocacy Center, Safe Spot, who works in the county. They provide forensic interviews and they provide counseling services. We will help those folks, if they have health insurance, connect to long-term therapy services, or we'll refer out to other community partners that can provide either sliding-based scale services or something more long-term. We're looking at about 10 sessions per person, which is a great place to get started for a lot of our clients. It's a really good way to jumpstart some of that crisis intervention, helping them get ready for the trauma work, helping them reach a sense of like stability and coping where they're ready for long-term work, but they often need more. What I typically do is I will sit down with my clients as we're getting ready to discharge. I'll have a conversation with them about their needs moving forward, treatment preferences, and I help put together a list of long-term providers that they can reach out to. Some of the things that I find really rewarding when I'm working with clients that show me that the counseling is helping and having the impact that we want it to have is that clients will start to come in and I'll see a shift in their demeanor. So I might be noticing that their posture is more relaxed, or they're telling me that they're sleeping better. That's a huge improvement that I see with a lot of the folks I work with. Or they're starting to label their emotions or setting boundaries. Even something that seems unrelated to trauma, like a client coming in and telling me they said no to a work project that was going to be too overwhelming for them, is a really big deal for somebody who's trying to heal and learn how to advocate for themselves and their needs.
I started looking at the strategic plan and looking at our need for that. What is it that we're going to do that's going to make an impact and connect our activities to actual impact for the community? And that was really the reason I wanted us to engage in that strategic planning process.
Victim advocates are important for many reasons. Oftentimes, individuals who are reaching out for services, sharing their story with the victim advocate, this may be the first time they've told someone about their experience. Advocates are important to be able to help individuals learn about options and resources. So as individuals are disclosing their circumstance, they may want to learn, how can I file for a protective order? How can I access financial assistance? Advocates can help individuals if they're interested in reconnecting with individuals that may be in another location. So if folks are interested in relocating, we can talk with them about that option. If there are concerns around children, we can help them get connected to legal services and help them understand their rights related to custody and support. Talking with individuals about safety planning is really important for us. Advocates are important because we walk alongside individuals impacted by a variety of abusive situations. How do I access this support? How do I have a conversation with my kids about the change that they're experiencing? How can I help myself stay safer? Housing is oftentimes a need for individuals who've experienced domestic or sexual violence. Individuals who are seeking housing information and housing supports, we try to work on assessments, learning a little bit about what clients need, talking with them about possible options, explaining community resources, and helping them develop a plan based on their own unique need. Those plans could include shelter, it could include a program, it could include individual housing on their own. Housing isn't something that we're able to guarantee, but we will work with individuals to try to help them find the resources that they do need. Advocates are not attorneys, and we're not able to provide legal advice. But what we can do is help individuals understand processes that are related to legal matters such as court. So if individuals are seeking petitions for a protective order, we can explain that process. We can help them understand what to expect as they go through that process. And then for the legal advice, we can help connect them to community resources that may be helpful. We can help navigate application processes, navigate accompaniment for court if folks need that support.
And so we started with the process of looking at our community, asking questions of our partners, and we know that something as pervasive as interpersonal violence means that the community has to be involved, that many people, many stakeholders have to be involved in the solution. And so we started this process of talking to our community, talking to those who are impacted by intimate partner violence and other interpersonal violence.
The hospital accompaniment program is a partnership with the ANOVA FACT department. So we can get a victim coming in through our hotline. Most of the time they find out about the FACT department by calling in, disclosing that they experienced an assault, whether it's domestic violence, sexual violence, strangulation, and we recommend that they do go into the FACT department for an exam. It is always a scheduled appointment with the FACT department, so they'll come into the different locations we have. There's two. There's the Dunloring and the Fairfax hospital. A typical hospital accompaniment where a victim will come in, they can expect to register with the nurse, just some paperwork to fill out. Then they will also meet with their advocate. After that, they will go into an interview room with the nurse. The advocate can be there with them if they would like that. They'll go through a medical history interview and gather circumstances of the assault. That just helps to guide the nurse during the exam. After that, they'll go into the exam room where there will be a head-to-toe examination and speak with the advocate for a little bit longer to see what resources we can provide to them. A victim does not have to report to law enforcement to be eligible for our services and to have an advocate with them. With with us with DSVS, our advocates are there during their time at the hospital, and we are there to do the triage and address their immediate needs and provide resources.
I am a crisis line specialist. I cover the 24-hour domestic and sexual violence hotline. Hotline services are available for anyone who connects with our hotline. They are available in many different languages, and to anyone who is experiencing or domestic sexual violence, human trafficking, or stalking, as well as individuals who may find themselves to be hurting those around them. The hotline is available and can provide support. Most of the resources that are referred to are within Fairfax County. If you or anyone that you know is experiencing or is going through any domestic or sexual violence, human trafficking, or stalking, feel free to call our hotline. It's 24 hours and it's 703-360-7273.
The decisions that you have to make are complicated. They are complex and they have a lot of nuances to them. I can walk alongside you and help you and give you information and be able to provide the support that you need, but ultimately this is your choice, these are your decisions, and I honor those.
What our team does is we bring our community together to address and prevent domestic sexual violence, teen dating violence, human trafficking, and stalking. We offer an array of training and outreach to community members and other professionals. Some of the trainings or presentations that we do offer are Understanding Domestic Violence and Understanding Sexual Violence, which talk about the definitions and key concepts of these issues, as well as how to support survivors and their families that are experiencing these issues at home. We create our own curriculums. Anybody can request the training. The only thing that they have to do is go on our website and complete a request form.
Teen dating violence is behavior that harms a current or former dating partner. And so teens are actually at the highest risk of experiencing dating violence. The ages 16 to 24 are at increased risk over older adults. And so it's really important that teens learn more about these behaviors and what to look out for when they're younger, so that we can try and prevent it from happening to them again when they age. We talk about digital violence as a form of dating violence and what that looks like. And we really like to single out teen dating violence awareness because it's very specific and not the same as domestic violence awareness. So the Teen Advocates program is for teens ages 12 to 19 who either are residents or go to school in Fairfax County. And the Teen Advocates program trains these teens to become community leaders. They plan events in the community, they serve as subject matter experts among their peers, and we recruit usually starting in August for an entire school year. And they are really passionate about wanting to be involved in the program. They fill out an application, we meet twice a month, and they've really done a lot of great work over the years. So the HYPE program stands for the Healthy Youth Prevention and Education Project, and it's an 8-session curriculum that goes through what teen dating violence is, what victim blaming is, how to be an active bystander, consent and healthy sexuality, gender, relationship values, so how teens choose what they want in a relationship and how they choose what their deal breakers are, self-esteem and jealousy, and communication. And so it really gets into not only what are the behaviors to look out for, but also how do you become the best version of yourself, and also the best partner you can be as well.
We've accomplished a lot in the last 3 years. We have done streamlining where we have new technologies that we have developed, made it easier, and efficiencies for things that we're doing. Very excited about where we've been and where we're heading.
DSVS's volunteer services is the heartbeat of the agency. We support individuals who are experiencing domestic and sexual violence, human trafficking, and stalking. Currently, we have about 100 active volunteers. We have a number of ways that we engage with our volunteers, one of which is a monthly newsletter, which oftentimes will include training opportunities, self-care tips, because we know this work is hard, updates and announcements and things like that. And every month we also highlight a volunteer, which also gives us an opportunity not only to highlight their journey, but also the work that they do. We have volunteers that support victim survivors as they're going through the forensic exam. So those are our hospital accompaniment volunteers. We also work with individuals who have caused harm against a loved one. So those are our ADAPT co-facilitators, and they're pretty much going through this 4.5 months of treatment. Then we have volunteers who support the advocacy team, and they are either working with the advocates to help process, some of those preliminary things that victims need to prepare themselves for protective orders, in addition to providing the emotional support to victim survivors while they're going through that protective order process. We have our hotline, which is a doorway to all of our services. We have volunteers that support callers with doing some safety planning and some crisis intervention. To become a volunteer is relatively easy. Most of the time they reach out to me directly, or they'll send an inquiry directly through our website, and we market our volunteer opportunities in a number of ways, social media platforms and things like that.
We work with communities to transform society's response to domestic violence, sexual violence, human trafficking, and stalking by challenging oppression, collaborating to inform policy, and providing all persons impacted by violence with equitable access to trauma-informed support, advocacy, education, and a space for healing.
If you or anyone you know has been impacted by domestic and sexual violence, human trafficking, or stalking, call our 24-hour hotline at 703-360-7273 any time of the day. The calls will always be anonymous, and we're always here to listen.